Florida politics could be remade this election year. The state now home to tens of thousands of Puerto Ricans after their homes were ravaged by Hurricane Maria. ABC 7's Jess Dowdrick joins us with the story. Jess.
Alan, more than 1 million Puerto Ricans called Florida home before Hurricane Maria even hit. That's about 5% of the state's population. Since then, an estimated 130,000 Puerto Ricans moved to Florida, ready to start over. As we head into the 2018 election year, the state of Florida will choose a new governor, and tens of thousands of Floridians' newest residents from Puerto Rico will have a say in who he or she is. According to the Florida Department of Education, 50,000 Puerto Ricans will have made Florida their residence as we head into the midterm election year.
Puerto Ricans tend to lean Democratic, so I think Democrats are really excited potentially about this influx of voters that could lean in their favor. It's not a guarantee, though, and it's not like every Puerto Rican votes Democratic.
Both the Republican and Democratic parties statewide are courting new arrivals to Florida.
When you look at the state of Florida, elections are oftentimes decided by a couple votes either way.
For example, President Donald Trump won the state by just 112,000 votes out of the 9.6 million that were cast.
The elections have been close in the last gubernatorial elections as well as the presidential election, and I assume that more voters voting for Democrats would help the Democratic Party.
The possible impact of Puerto Rican voters hasn't gone unseen by politicians.
As you see the governor really playing to Puerto Ricans, he has really been aggressive after Hurricane Maria and Hurricane Irma and reaching out to the Puerto Rican community and folks who have relocated here.
Puerto Ricans have applauded Republican Governor Rick Scott for welcoming them and have expressed outrage over the Republican president's handling of the storm. But regardless of the new Floridians' party affiliation, there's a bigger issue.
Just because you move to Florida doesn't mean that you're going to register to vote and participate in these elections. So, Democrats still have a tall order to try and register all these people and get them interested in participating in the elections in the state.
On a local level, in Sarasota and Manatee counties, there's not a way for the county supervisors of elections to be able to determine how many Puerto Ricans have registered to vote since the hurricane.
We don't really have a hard line on attracting that. It's an application question which they're not required to answer, okay, in the state of Florida. So we don't necessarily know where they came from. We can guess.
In Manatee County, they've seen a lot of voter registration forms come in since hurricane season, but nothing unusual. Right now, Supervisor of Elections Michael Bennett says there are about 10% more Republicans in Manatee County than Democrats.
It's how do they vote, and it's really kind of tough to anticipate that when you look at the huge number of people who are registering now as independent.
In Sarasota County, things are also steady. Supervisor of Elections Ron Turner hasn't seen a drastic increase in people registering to vote, but his office is ready when they're needed.
Voter registration is available in a variety of locations through a paper application or through an online process. And the Supervisor of Elections office is certainly willing to work with any individuals or groups that we can. There are Spanish versions of the Florida voter registration application.
One big race in Sarasota County this year is the race for District Seat 72 between Democrat Margaret Good and Republican James Buchanan. That's a race Puerto Ricans could play a major role in.
That race, the Margaret Good, James Buchanan race, is going to be very close, and every vote counts, and I encourage everyone to vote, so you never know.
The real influx of Puerto Ricans to Florida is in Central Florida, which is home to 350,000 Puerto Ricans. It isn't just a post-Hurricane Maria influx. Puerto Ricans have been moving there for years.
People thought that that was really going to help Democrats, and Donald Trump won Florida, so you never know what's going to happen, and it could be that people are overhyping this a little bit.
So we'll just have to wait and see what this election year brings. From the federal election perspective, as U.S. citizens, Puerto Ricans can vote in federal elections once they move to the mainland.
Jess, thank you.